Yo, this is Supermax Hernandez, and you're watching Countdown City WrestleCast. Boom! I got it.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I am joined this week by Tommy.
What's up, guys? WWE Championship.
Not getting unified.
Thank God.
And of course, we got Mike.
Mike, I love wrestling, and love always wins. Boom.
It sounds like that should be a theme song for Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, that'd be good.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the show. If anyone new that's just subscribed to the channel, we hope you enjoy. For the WrestleCast itself, our Twitter is at CCG_WrestleCast. And of course, if you're watching and haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe here for more episodes. Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Today, we're going to preview the AEW Revolution. And it's AEW's first Sunday pay-per-view since the company began early last year. Right? Wow. Was it 2020 when they began?
Guess that's a good point. They're on Saturday, aren't they?
2019. Jesus.
I think
I'm trying to forget 2020.
I think 2020 had this weird amalgamation that the days just kind of melded into like a week.
Yeah.
It was 742 days long. So
that is very true. This is very true. We're also going to be announcing the bracket for our first ever Spring Madness tournament. We've put together what we think are the top 32 finishers for singles finishers of all time, and we'll be allowing you out there to vote on our Twitter account. So go give us a follow on Twitter if you want to vote on this. We're going to reveal the bracket and kind of break down what each of the four corners are.
Does NCAA March Madness, like the Super Bowl, have one of those things where you can't mention it in any way, shape, or form?
You know, I think they do, but I'm not taking any chances. If I say Spring Madness, Wrestling Madness, the Madness, anything some sort of way like that. Yeah, you know, so...
Madness brackets, dig it.
Well, see, you know what? They must have something like that, and here's how you know. Vince could never use the phrase March Madness to promote anything Randy Savage was doing, and you know if he could have, he would have. So they must have... Their lawyers have it on lock.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So let's get started with AEW Revolution. Now, the first match on the card is more than likely going to be taking place on the buy-in, which is the version of the pre-show. It's a casino tag team royale. If it's very similar to the singles, it's really going to be some setup where everyone kind of draws a card to see where they come out as a team, and be over the top, I believe, until it's top. Yeah. I think it's the last two they'll pay for pinfall, if I'm not mistaken. Or are they going to fully over the top? I can't remember. But it looks like on this one, let me see. Every 90 seconds, a new team enters. Okay. So
is this not like the Battle Royals they've had where if one person's out, your team's out? Or do both people, can they survive individually for their
According to this, both members have to be out for a team to be eliminated.
Okay.
So if one wrestler on a team is left, that team wins.
Okay.
Has a chance to win. So, and they would earn a shot at the AEW Tag Team Championship at a later date. They haven't said which one. So now, of course, we're recording this on Tuesday before Dynamite, the final Dynamite before Revolution. So there's still some announcements that can be made. And knowing how they usually do these battle royales, they'll make announcements throughout the rest of the week up until the show starts. So
that being said, if you can catch any replay of Phoenix and Lance Archer from last week, I amazingly suggest go watch it. That match was fan-friggin-tastic.
If you missed it, check it out on the TNT app, actually. They have one on your Roku. You can go back and watch any of the past Dynamite episodes as well.
Oh, so, of course.
And he is right.
Yeah. That's how I catch up, because I don't have a DVR in this office. So,
nice.
Now, the teams they've been out so far, there's Bear Country. The Dark Order is represented by two different tag teams. I will note that. The Inner Circle with Santana and Ortiz, or Pride and Prejudice, as Mike likes to call them. So,
Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, the Butcher of the Blade.
The literary guy.
Yeah, Private Party and Top Flight. Just because there's so much out there, I don't know if it's wise for us to even make a pick on this, but Mike, you mentioned you might have a theory of what goes down. So Feel free to share.
I don't know if it's like a legit theory. It's just kind of what I want to happen. I want Alex Reynolds and John Silver to win. I really, and I think they're slow booking something along these lines, but I really want to see the Dark Order get that push, that real push where they start becoming legitimate. Like, they've had some good times, but usually in things like this, their guys will get eliminated or pinned or whatever it is. And again, I still think right now, of all the current members in there, John Silver is just that character that like everyone's getting behind. The Daly's Place has some fans, and he always gets such a big reaction. So considering what the tag team championship match is, there's a couple ways they can go there, and it kind of leads into some other picks later on with the Dark Order, but I'd really like to see them come out of this, specifically those two.
Well, you'd like to think the Dark Order has the best chance to win since they pretty much double their chances by having two teams in there, so you'd think one of them would. So, but yeah, that's true. That the Daly's Place fans just love him, so they'll definitely be behind him to win. So, and we'll see what other teams they add. We'll see what gets added. We'll see what kind of craziness goes on with this. So, now on to what will be the main card matches. We say main card. We assume that will be on the buy-in. Like I said, usually those tag team royals there, those battle royals are. First match we'll talk about is Miro and Kip Sabian versus the best friends Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Is anybody not picking a team with Orange Cassidy on it the way he's so popular right now?
It's hard to call for this one. I don't know.
Yeah, like same thing. Like I feel like with this feud, best friends kind of get over in the segments and in the promos, and like they messed up the wedding. But I feel like in the match, they're not going to have Miro lose.
Not yet.
I think he's going to pin Chuck Taylor. I don't think Orange Cassidy's going to take the pin, but I actually do think Miro and Kip Sabian. I mean, I love Orange Cassidy. Trent being out kind of forces Cassidy to be in the tag team part of it. And I think, that kind of sucks a little bit for Cassidy because, he's kind of great as the solo act who's best friends with the best friends. But I actually do think Miro and Kip Sabian will win, but pinning Chuck Taylor, of course, the Kentucky gentleman that he is.
Yeah, that is one concern I have on this, even though I love Orange Cassidy, is that he's not his usual tag team partner, right?
Yeah.
So Mike, I assume you and Tommy are both picking Miro and Kip Sabian. Is that where y'all are thinking right now?
That's where I'm headed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm with Mike for pretty much the exact same reasoning he just said. So yeah.
All right. Y'all are kind of talking me that way, but if Cassidy and Chuck Taylor come out with one of their moms driving them to the ring, I got to go with them because
Can I change?
Yeah.
Can I change it the night of the pay-per-view if that happens?
I'm running with Orange Cassidy. I'm going to stick with them with this.
Fair enough.
Just where he's at right now. It's hard to go against it. Now, the next match we'll talk about is the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And this is for a future AEW TNT Championship, so I assume there will be some sort of briefcase above the ring. And so far, we know 4 people that are going to be in the match. Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Penta Acero Miedo, and Lance Archer. We know that either Preston Vance or Max Caster will be a part of that match as well. They're supposed to be wrestling, I believe, tomorrow on Dynamite to decide that slot. And there could potentially be more. All we have on there is like a to be announced as well. So we don't know what else is going to be added there. Mike, who are you picking for this one?
Considering the TNT champion is currently Darby Allin, I'm actually thinking Penta El Zero Miedo is going to take this one. If Phoenix would have gotten in, I totally would have gone Phoenix because that would have been an interesting match.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to choose Archer, but I don't know, with the ladder match, not that he can't get up there, he's pretty athletic, but I just feel like that might play into it. So I think Pentel Zero is a solid pick that would put on a great match with Darby Allin down the road.
Okay. Tommy, what about you?
Actually, I was picking Lance Archer the second he beat Phoenix because aside from my mortal fear of him, there's the call a spade. We all know that the only reason he hasn't killed me is because of my wife. Anyway, but I think once me and her are a good 5 years into this marriage, even that'll be like, okay, you've had your fun. It's everybody dies. It's just your turn, bro. So
borrow time.
Yes. So no, I don't know, because like I feel like they've been pushing him a lot lately. Like that was like his third main event on Dynamite already. Like, and they like just started doing that almost out of nowhere. I was like, okay, where'd that come from? But I just feel like that's what they're doing. Now I don't know if he'll beat Darby Allin. I wouldn't be shocked if he did, but but I see him winning this one though. At least getting to get that shot at him.
The funny part is I've been back and forth between those two guys. Scorpio Sky, not to say he doesn't have a shot. I just don't feel like he'd come out winning this one. And Cody Rhodes, I think, is slowly going to be phasing out just a little bit, because he's going to be a girl dad. I don't know if you guys know, they did announce they are having a girl for the gender reveal. So, congrats to him. And I can't think of anybody in the potential to be announced that would possibly beat Penta or Lance Archer. But I'm going to go with my Texas ties on this one and go with Lance Archer. Even though tall guys don't usually win ladder matches, maybe he changes that around. So,
You don't go with La Gente?
No. Although an all face paint championship match would be crazy. So
True.
Now, guys, would you book yourself in a wrestling match where you're basically a quarter of your paycheck was on the line for the year?
No.
I don't have that much money that would be worthy of that match in the first place. I'm gonna be honest with you. Matt Hardy would be like, dude, I don't care if you win or lose, I'll give you a quarter of my check, because, bro, you're just.
Yeah, if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about Matt Hardy and Adam Hangman Page. Big money match. The winner receives the loser's first quarter earnings for 2021. So my thought is, if you lose this match, just take your merch off so that you don't get any checks for that for the first quarter, and then you can throw that back on and just get that money back. I'm just saying there's a strategy to that, right?
Problem with Matt Hardy is, like, I mean, he take his merch off of how many places though? Doesn't he have like his own personal website that he's basically
probably
shut down? So
yeah, how are you able to check it all, right? I am going to go ahead and say Hangman Page on this one. The man does not want to lose his beer money and will do everything possible to make sure he does not. So I got to go with the Hangman for this one. You guys go ahead and make your picks. I need to grab a tissue real quick. So Mike, go for it. Yeah.
I'm definitely going with Hangman 2 for a few reasons. Why would you build up Hardy these last couple weeks as big money Matt Hardy just for him to get more of someone else's money? I mean, I guess it's a thing, but to me, it seems like the sense is he's big money Matt, and then Adam takes some of that money with the win.
yeah.
So, plus, I think he may get some support from Dark Order continuing that storyline. So, I really want to see that as connected to the Tag Team Royale.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't hear a word you said. Just tell me who you picked. That's all.
Oh, we already moved on to the street. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, funny.
I picked Hangman.
Okay. And Tommy, what about you?
I just,
go ahead.
I just let my heart out there. Like that was one of the most heartfelt things I've ever said on the show, and he didn't hear any of it. Man.
See, the beauty of it is, I do the editing for the show, so when I go back and listen to that, I'll be crying while I'm editing. So,
Tommy, where'd you go? Oh,
yeah. Let's hope I don't short out my keyboard here while I'm doing the editing and everything like that.
His speech was brilliant. I mean, you will be in tears. I mean, Les Miserables, lame compared to Mike's speech.
Take part of that first quarter earning and buy the rights to Celine Dion, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tommy, where are you going with this one?
I'm going with Adam Page as well. I think that having Matt lose will just make him angrier, and I like that. Okay. Matt Hardy started to drive me crazy because I'm starting to can't stand the fact that he can reinvent himself like Jericho, and it works every time. Mm-hmm. Because someone in one of the groups I'm in posted version 1 Matt where he had that sick entrance song that is still killer to this day, and had the Matt facts. And they touched on it a little bit during the Stadium Stampede, which was hilarious. When I can't get over the idea of a Santana Ortiz stopping and looking and reading them. So I was like, that was my favorite thing about that match. But I think the angrier Matt gets, we're still getting this almost corporate sellout type of Matt, which in the early 2000s, wow, that would have been a cardinal sin to say that the Matt Hardy's become. Oh man, in 2021, Matt Hardy's going to be like a corporate dude, and you probably get punched for that. But then again, it might be good for him because he's still doing this thing with managing Private Party, and I hope they're throwing TH2 in there too because I like those guys, and I think that could be a fun stable, just guys Matt Hardy's hiring.
All right, street fight: Brian Cage and Ricky Starks against Darby Allin and Sting. The Stinger is back, his first match, and when he came back and thought he was going to be on this reduced schedule, I thought, okay, he'll work a few safe matches, and then they say street fight. And I'm like,
which is literally his first one out the gate.
Well, compared to what's happening in the main event, I guess it's not as bad, but
there's no barbed wire, there's no explosions, it's just weapons. So
yeah, of course. Then again, Jun Kasai is looking at Sting and going, "Wuss! I'll be doing this till I'm 80."
Hey, you know what? Real quick, man. JC, well, both of y'all, but y'all know my love for early '90s WCW.
Yes.
I went back this past weekend, and I was just looking for some random stuff, and I rewatched, I think it was Great American Bash 92, Sting versus Vader, when Vader was coming on as the big heel, and actually he beat Sting for a title. It's kind of a shock at the time because, Sting was superface in WCW, and in my head and as a kid, I always thought that Vader just, was huge and, towered over Sting. Rewatching it now, obviously he's bigger, 400 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Sting is as tall or not taller. Sometimes you forget how big Prime Sting was and how ridiculous athletic he was to the fact that...
Keep talking. Jay's telling me a story. He went to daycare. So. Go ahead.
The whole, turn of the match is Sting is so athletic that Vader's in the corner, with his chest against the top rope or whatever, and Stinger splashes him and overshoots it so much that he hit his head on the post behind it, and that's what led to his downfall. That's how athletic and freaky Sting used to be back in the day. So that's a long-winded way of me saying, how do you have Sting and Darby Allin lose?
Good night.
I gotta go, Darby.
That was the point you were going.
Okay, sorry. My son had to come in here and tell me a story about bubble guppies. So
yeah, I understand.
Again, you missed the heartfelt speech.
I'm Surfer Sting. I'm sure Mike was going up talking about Surfer. My God,
just enjoy it while you're editing.
While I'm editing. So your pick is Sting, I assume.
Of course, Darby Allin.
Of course, yes, Darby Allin, Sting. Yeah.
Every time you leave now for a minute, I'm just gonna tell you a story so you can catch it. No, man, dude, don't feel bad. It's funny.
He's gonna be telling me what he got me for my birthday, and I have no freaking idea until I go back and edit it, right? So.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I'm gonna. And it's kind of cool to see Ricky Starks in this, and I'm sure that's a freaking joy for him to be wrestling Sting.
I think it's
awesome.
I think it's crazy for all of us in Texas to see Ricky Starks, ACW, BOW, insert indie show here, Ricky Starks, in a match with Sting in AEW. It's so cool. So
it is.
Come a long way from getting put through a table in Laredo by Ryback. I will say that much too on SmackDown.
Do you know I have to keep reminding myself that ever happened? That feels so long ago. I completely forget that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks just walking out so how the turntables. Office shout out.
Yeah. But I have to go Darby Allin and Sting. One, because I'm a big fan for Darby Allin. And two, I think the whole idea of this is Sting is kind of grooming him, helping him and it's going to pay off with the two of them eventually fighting. So
Yeah.
I got to go Darby Allin and Sting here. Tommy, I assume you're going the same way. Would I be surprised if you go Cage and Starks?
Well, you're gonna be surprised.
Oh, really? Okay.
I actually, and I was torn about this, but I just had this feeling they might let Ricky and Cage go over, just because they want to start building those two up as well, and I think whoever wins the ladder match is also going to be like, well, we beat Darby Allin first, so we should get first shot, blah blah blah. So I don't think this feud's over yet with Darby Allin, especially with Team Taz. But I had this weird feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. I probably am, but I that's how I'm feeling about it.
All right.
Yep.
Some interesting picks, man. It's kind of fun. So.
Yeah.
All right. This next match features the only pick that Tina made on this entire show.
Jeez, let me guess.
Yeah. AEW Tag Team Championship, Young Bucks against MJF and Chris Jericho of the Inner Circle. Tina, of course, will keep picking it till blue in the face. And although this may not be a bad pick this time, she's going with MJF and Chris Jericho to win the tag titles. And in a way, I have to agree with her as well, because I really think they're grooming Chris Jericho to be like AEW's version of the Grand Slam champion at this point. He'll win the tag titles and eventually on his way out win the TNT title. We'll see if it comes to that. But I think it would be great for MJF for him to, how can I put this, be the reason they win this match. Does a lot of the work.
Oh yeah, I
know. And try and groom himself to take over the Inner Circle, if you will.
See, I feel like his character would be the opposite. I feel like he would let Jericho do all the work, but if he were to win, I'm not saying that's my pick, he would get the pin after Jericho did a lot of the work. That would be the way I feel like MJF would go.
Like he's making all the saves when Jericho's getting pinned, and then that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I think Tina agreement. We're gonna go Inner Circle. Nothing against the Young Bucks right now. I know obviously with what they're cross promoting, and maybe a part of me would love to see MJF go over to Impact and just talk a lot of shit on some level. That'd be kind of cool if he's taking the tag titles with him. So, but I'll go with that. Mike, it sounds like you're gonna go with the Young Bucks.
I am going to go with the Young Bucks, and it's actually because I think Sammy's going to interfere and cost them cost the Inner Circle, Jericho and MJF. Because I don't think that's done with. Obviously, I know there was the whole story about him was supposed to go to Impact, and that kind of he apparently had a bad attitude. But overall, I don't think the story with him and MJF and the Inner Circle is. Even though he quit, I don't think it's done. So. Plus, whole Bullet Club, Young Bucks, where they stand, is still something that's kind of percolating there. So I think keeping the titles on them while the Good Brothers still have the Impact titles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something that might keep going for a little bit.
All right, Tommy.
Actually, I'm picking. Jericho and MJF, and honestly, Mike, because of what you piggyback
Baron Corbin.
But the thing is, though, about what you said, Mike, I'm actually picking MJF and Jericho to win for the exact opposite, for like the same and the opposite reason. It's like I think the Bucks will lose, Gallows and Anderson will hold that over them, and see, I'm also thinking that, but they'll lose those belts, but they'll lose them to Juice and Finn in Impact, which I just think will be poetic justice, because I want Juice Robinson to hold just literally all the gold, because he's just such an underrated talent, and I just want him to have all the belts, give him all the things. Anyway, so I'm thinking that they'll do that, and honestly, I do see Sammy interfering, but not in the way you're thinking. I see him interfering in a way that he keeps getting in the head of Santana and Ortiz, and they finally break away from the Inner Circle. That's where that's where I keep thinking, because
so on the buy-in, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because and also I have this feeling that those two guys have been not floundering. No, they've just been biding their time, because for one, they just came off like those monster matches with with Phoenix and Penta and Impact, where they were trying to break each other's necks literally every match. I wish I was being facetious, but go back and watch the matches. I think they honestly hated each other for about 10 minutes in each match. And it's like right now, especially with the how the pandemic and everything, they were just like, they could heal up a bit and not take as bad of beatings as they had before. But now they've rested. I mean, not counting the street fight they have with best friends, that was brutal as hell. But now they've rested and everything. They can face them again. And that and either them or some other team will get the tag belts. I don't see MJF and Jericho having them long. It won't be a long title reign. If it makes it past 2 months, I'll be stunned. But I just think this is where they'll have the Bucks lose.
All right. At some point, do you think there's a chance the Good Brothers come and interfere on the Young Bucks' behalf? Just thinking about that, we were talking about it.
On their behalf, nope.
Yeah, nope. Ooh, interesting.
I would agree with Tommy on that part because of the way the story's kind of going.
Yeah, at this point, I think this is kind of like every man for himself. I think, and honestly, I can't help but think that Tom is still trolling the entire wrestling world, and I'm still kind of loving him for it because I think they know that's what's going to happen. I think they all expect that to happen. And Tom is when they finally fully betray the Bucks, Tom is going to be on his and I can't wait to watch what happens. I will be on his Twitch stream immediately. He's going to be like, "What I tell you? What did I tell you?"
I mean, it would be better if he came and did it himself. That would be a hell of an appearance.
If he slid in the ring and hit Carl Anderson with a gun stun, I think I might faint.
Yeah,
I'll just be watching, and be like, "Ah!"
All right. Let's see here. Okay, AEW Women's Championship. We know Hikaru Shida is defending it. What we don't know yet is who her opponent is. We know it's going to be either between Nyla Rose or Ryo Mizunami. Excuse me. I'm going to make sure I said that right.
I had the same problem the other day with my Twitter Wrestler update. Up on my channel right now. Go watch it if you want.
For the last month or so, AEW has been running a Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament, a single elimination tournament starting with 16 wrestlers. And the final is going to be tomorrow as of this recording on Dynamite between Rose and Mizunami. The winner gets the shot at Hikaru Shida, who's just been basically patiently waiting. So this is another situation where if we're picking Rose or Mizunami, there's a chance we're going to lose this pick before the show even starts. So that being said, I'm going with Hikaru Shida, who's looked damn near unbeatable. And until she loses to somebody, I can't go against her. So I have to stick with Shida on this. So Mike, what about you?
I mean, I'm picking Ryo to beat Nyla in the finals, but I'm also picking Shida to win the actual match at Revolution. And mainly the first part I'm picking because we've seen Nyla versus Shida a few times. I think it'd be good to get kind of a new face in there, and obviously with the Japanese part of this bracket, it might be another chance to expose American audiences to another talent. That hasn't maybe seen a lot of U.S. Airtime and stuff. So, but no, I still think Shida's. I don't think they've built anyone up yet. Like they're in the process of maybe a few things, but I don't think they've really built anyone up to beat her. So, if she does lose anytime soon, I think it won't have the the luster or the pop of someone who you're just waiting to finally get that win. So,
yeah. Okay. And Tommy.
Shida. I like the idea of this tournament, but I have a feeling they would want to lose in like a big storyline. So, which is why I'm kind of shocked Britt Baker didn't beat Nyla Rose. I will say that was kind of clever booking because you expected that to happen, and when it didn't, it was a good swerve. Man, I'm still missing Anna Jay. I still wish she.
It's the injury, but it allowed hybrid training to come in. So
her and Hiromu, I feel so bad for them. And hopefully when she gets back, the first thing she does is get a title shot. She should, because she had come such a long way from her first match in AEW. And you can say the same about Britt Baker, because Britt Baker was good, but now when she turned heel, her promo work is fantastic. That I can't get over that Audrey promo where she said, when I broke my knee. Audrey was somewhere. I was like, whoa, you're crazy, for real. But anyway, yeah, I think they probably want to save it for, and this is, but the tournament is a good starter. I mean, I think, so to me, this is all the stuff they wanted to do last year before everything went sideways with literally the planet. Before the planet literally turned on its side. This is also they were going to do last year, and so now when we have a slight lull, they're like, quick, do all the things before. And to their credit, I loved how they did the tournament. You know, the closed set. Have it filmed for the fans who want to watch it. You know, everything. You know, a lot of fans watch stuff on YouTube now, so they air it there on Bleacher Report, everything, blah blah blah. And I think it's cool. Of course, Maki Ito, who sweet Lord, sign her, please. I just put it on Twitter. Sign Maki Ito. Because I just freaking love her. She's so hilarious. And I would love to see her have to censor herself on AEW. So
did you see the small little exchange with oh crap, his name just went out of my head. Just go on. The guy who's coming to AEW that everyone loves, that was on the indies forever, and now he's like blown up on AEW out of nowhere. He teams. Jesus Christ!
I can't call his name either.
No, I mean, oh god dang it!
We'll keep going if the name pops back in. Just let us know. Because we got to get to the World Championship match, exploding barbed wire death match. Wow, Kenny Omega defending against Jon Moxley. Don Callis will be ringside with Kenny Omega, but we'll see if his ass goes through an exploding barbed wires contraption or something like that.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first time he's been through barbed wire, and everyone knows it.
I know.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How do we win? Do you have to be pinned, or do you just have to not get blowed up?
Yes. Yeah.
Do we know specifically?
I mean, my thought is it's got to be pinfall submission. It's just that we're going to have barbed wires and bombs in there. I mean, this is very reminiscent of those old Cactus Jack Mick Foley videos that they always see.
Or dude, literally anything happening in Big Japan Pro Wrestling right now. I'm not kidding. They probably did this yesterday. So
like, I've read that in Foley's book. I've seen videos, and I can't actually think like anybody actually won the match. It was just like, I think I saw a bunch where there was like a time limit, and the ring would explode if y'all didn't finish within the time limit. So
there are several like that. Okay, so apparently I think didn't they list this as a death match too?
It is,
yes,
barbed wire death match.
So I'm guessing it might follow deathmatch rules, like you if you can't answer a 10 count or something. Okay, so how they do it in Japan is several ways. They do a deathmatch, they do a pinfall or submission, or they do a time limit. Like if you don't win the certain time limit, then the whole ring explodes. Yeah, that happens. I love explaining Japanese hardcore pro wrestling to people who don't even watch hardcore people who even watch pro wrestling, and they're just like, wow, Mankind and Undertaker's as crazy as it gets. It's really not. It's really not. Matter of fact, the only thing bad
has ever done. Yeah.
I was like, the only thing really bad about that match was the fact that Mick Foley got knocked out during it. That sucked. Everything else is like he's been through literally all that before. So,
Tommy, has anyone ever told you I think you'd be really good friends with Matthew, who does Botchamania? I watch him on Cultaholic stuff, and he loves the Japanese death matches too. Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah. Hey, maybe I should text him or email him or something. Like, hey, dude. Brothers, let's do this. So, but it's because that stuff is so insane. If you ever watch it, I'm serious. Type in Junk Kasai. Just type in one of his name and watch one of his matches. The dude is insane. It's because the deathmatch stuff we get away with here in America. People are like, oh wow, that's so edgy. That's we get away with a lot. No, we really don't. CZW at their worst was bad. And I still say, Junkus, I was watching and laughing, and it's like, oh my god, that's the worst they do? That's hilarious! I'm gonna go stick glass down this guy's mouth real quick to win the match.
Well, you mentioned CZW. Is this, do you think, going to be on CZW's level? The violence, the blood. I mean, this is pretty crazy.
I will cautiously say no. Cautiously.
Okay.
only because CZW, even when they, okay, it might, because like even when they did it, because CZW, because like people wouldn't say that they go so ultra violent. It didn't get ultra violent as often as people remember. It's just that that's what stuck with you. A lot of their death matches were bad, but they didn't get real bad to like the main events or like the ones people really wanted to see. Those were bad. Other than that, they were just kind of tame for the most part until they got to the really bad ones. So this one, it will approach it. I don't see it getting quite to like Justice Payne and Sick Nick Mondo and all those guys. Wow, I can't believe I remember their names. I honestly didn't think I remembered them until just now. So
yeah, and also in my opinion, I think Moxley and Omega are up to doing some crazy stuff. But I think honestly, like Tony Khan,
no,
I think they're going to gimmick some stuff, and I know that sounds kind of sacrilegious to what the match is, but I as much as Moxley's done stuff similar and Omega's always up for crazy stuff, you also can't risk these two guys too much because they are like the top,
they're your biggest stars.
Right? So it's I know like people don't want to hear that because you hear this exploding barbed wire death match and it sounds insane, but AEW is still a wrestling company. These are still two of their biggest stars. One of them's about to become a father.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll do some stuff beyond normal matches, and I know they're up. Like I said, I keep saying they're up for it, but I think some things will be gimmicked, and I don't think it'll be allowed to go as far as some people might want.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Well, to me, it's okay. So here's my thing with barbed wire matches. It's like I always set the bar too high, and I have to always dial it back down because to this day, nothing tops to me Sabu and Terry Funk.
Oof.
Nothing tops that to me. It's like even the barbed wire massacre matches in TNA. I was like, yeah, those are good. It's just not, and I'm never blaming the wrestlers for that because it's just like in my mind that match is like god tier hardcore match status. It's like it's on a level. It's in a league all on its own. Matter of fact, that's why I have to tell myself to stop comparing other barbed wire matches to that because that one is on a whole other level to the point where they legitimately almost died. So, and that's why Paul Heyman even said he never booked another one because no one was going to top that. So that's where. So I'm thinking it might. So it won't get that bad. A barbed wire match I do love immensely. Like so my number 2 is Raven and the Sandman. This was some December ECW show. It was for the ECW World Title.
December.
No, sir.
Just kidding.
How dare you? I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. I said nice things.
No, it's all good. But no, it could get that bad. And that match that match wasn't super violent or brutal. It's just like when they hit the barbed wire, you could tell that hurt. So yeah, I think it could get that bad. I just man, moments like this maybe also miss Abyss. Like,
I was about to say this. I feel this match is going to be on the level of Abyss versus Sabu, no rope barbed wire that they had in TNA.
That one is my solid number 3.
Yeah, which honestly, that was probably the most memorable of those matches that TNA ever had, and it was on pay-per-view, and it was like, wow, this is on American pay-per-view. So I think the shock value is going to be there on that level here, what these guys are going to do. Now that we've talked about that, let's make some damn picks, right?
My bad.
Yeah. I got to say Omega's going to walk away with this one because I think Moxley is going to show how really we know how tough he is. He's going to take a lot of this stuff. I think Omega is too. And I could very easily see this being some sort of like double count out or time limit if they even put a time limit on it. But if I have to pick a true winner, I have to say Kenny Omega. That's just my thought here. I feel like he's going to need a long title reign, especially with what they're building up with him. Mike, where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go the same way. That's kind of why I was asking too. How exactly do you win the match? I think at some point this is where I actually think the Good Brothers will continue to interfere. I think they will get involved in some point. And again, Moxley has been cool with some people, but he doesn't really have any allies. He had Hobbs and Darby Allin for while, and then Hobbs win Team Taz, and Darby's kind of doing his own thing. So
Darby's going to be busy that night. So
Yeah.
I think if it's like a 10 count thing, it'll be like he goes through something crazy, they pile some stuff on him, and he just can't get up to meet the 10 count. But yeah, I kind of agree with you too as far as Omega goes. I think his story with what's going on with Bullet Club stuff and him being the champion is going to go on a little bit longer.
Okay. And Tommy, your pick on this?
Yeah, I'm making it unanimous. I'm going Omega. And I gotta say this again. I'm still shocked that Moxley kept the U.S. title against Kenta.
I was about to say, me too. I was very surprised.
That completely threw off all of my expectations of what's going to happen going forward with him and Renee and, them having a kid. I mean, it's like, first of all, that match was brutal without the barbed wire. Because, I don't know if you guys saw it. I almost forgot it was on, and I was sitting at home, and I checked the time. I was like, wait! And I logged on to New Japan World, and I logged on just as they were coming out to start the match. I was like, oh, thank God. I would have hated myself. So I watched it, and it was just it was what you expect from those two. It's like they hit hard, and they retaliate harder, and like the ending with Kenta shooting double middle fingers at Moxley, yelling "F you!" was just the icing on the cake, and I was like, you know what, this is what I watch pro wrestling for. I watch it for this kind of stuff, and it was beautiful. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen down the road with this, but I do see Omega winning. I just gonna know, like, is this still the forbidden door being open with Mox as U.S. champion? Is someone from New Japan gonna come take the belt from him? My personal vote is Naito because for reasons. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, for reasons I want it to be Naito, but whatever. So
very cool.
Or Jay White, that'd be better.
I mean, that would be the big shock if Jay White showed up here. I mean, we'll see how this talent share partnership goes and see what role that plays in this main event match. So either way, though, obviously this one will steal the show. I mean, you're going to go off with a literal bang, if you will. So, this pay-per-view. So, well, that's our preview of AEW Revolution. I'm looking forward to this event. It is AEW's, like I mentioned, first show on a Sunday. First preview on a Sunday. We'll have all the details towards the end of the show. For now, though, we're going to talk about the first ever WrestleCast Spring Madness bracket. It's something that we've been meaning to do. We're finally going to get to do it. And I say spring because we might do a smaller one in the winter or the fall. We'll see. But I thought with the actual NCAA March Madness returning this year after taking a year off, I'm actually very excited I get to fill out a bracket this year. But I thought we could finally have some fun with it. We're a few years into the show. I thought it was time that we did something. So the theme of this year's bracket is the best finishers of all time for singles wrestlers, not tag team finishers. That may be something we do later on this year. Now, as I mentioned already, the singles finishers we talked about last week, male or female wrestlers, and this is going to be voted on by you guys. What myself, Tommy, Mike, and Tina have done is we went through and thought of every finisher we could think of, and even then, I'm sure we forgot some, but we decided to each individually rank our top 32, 1 through 32, and using a system much like the AP and the college football and basketball polls do, got a point value based on where they were, and figured out from there what the top ones were. And
number one was the body slam leg drop combo from Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Yeah. What do you know?
Right? No, not at all.
It's interesting because I will say that when I was looking at these lists, 5 of the finishers appeared on all 4 of our lists. And those are the top 5. And it was very much, what I liked about doing this is seeing how we each differ on our rankings, which is very cool. So here, everybody, is the brackets right now. Our top 32. I will say our number 1 ranked move was the RKO / Diamond Cutter. The Styles Clash was number 2, so on and so forth. We'll kind of go through this section by section, but what we're going to do is we'll have this out for you guys to look at. I'll post this on our Twitter later on Wednesday. And my plan is for Thursday, we're going to kind of go through a couple of the first round matches every day, maybe do like 24 to 48 hours to vote on each one. and we'll see what moves on. And eventually, by the end of the month, we'll have a winner. What you guys think, I should say, is the best finisher of all time. So,
The Cobra, Santino Marella.
let's start. Let's just kind of look quickly at the regions to see what the matchups are. We'll start here on the top left of the bracket. Number 1 seeded RKO Diamond Cutter going against the Phoenix Splash.
That's just not fair to put that against the Phoenix Splash.
Hey, you never know. The Phoenix Splash is a pretty damn cool looking.
Yeah, no, man, I love the Phoenix Splash when it's hit properly.
Probably, I think is going to be the closest vote. Will be the next one. One-Winged Angel against the Lion Tamer.
Yes.
Now, I'm not talking about the Walls of Jericho, everybody. The Lion Tamer should be the way.
Knee on the back of.
Yes.
Yeah, knee on the back and kind of
Yeah, Chris Jericho, WCW. Look it up. Yeah. Then we have Canadian Destroyer against the Tasmission. And a little Texas tie-in here. Sweet Chin Music against the Border Toss. It's Shawn Michaels versus Hot Stuff Hernandez. So.
Oh, man, the match we'll never get.
It's the match for San Antonio.
Yeah, never say never. Maybe they'll show up at RCW together. Who knows?
Oh, God.
All right. Yeah. We'll shuffle on further down the bracket, the next region, if you will. The number 4 seed, the Vertebreaker, a.k.a. the Gringo Killer, a.k.a. the Cop Killer, made famous by the Hurricane and Homicide, will go against Razor's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I forget who
also known as the Outsider's Edge in WCW.
Yeah, same move.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. The 13 Eat Defeat against the Backstabber. That was interesting. So
I think there was some bias there with Eat Defeat.
Yeah, I was. Oh man! I was
First of all, I will note that I'm not the only one that voted for that move. Okay.
Well, yeah, but I bet it's in the same household.
Yeah, it is in the same household. I had no influence on her vote. She did it entirely on her own. So we'll say that. Next one, the Sharpshooter / Scorpion Deathlock against Emerald Flosion. Whew, close one.
Woo.
And this one, my heart kind of breaks for it. Go to Sleep against the Black Hole Slam.
Yeah.
I love the Black Hole Slam, but it's going to be hard to top Go to Sleep. I'll see how people vote.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
I remember the first time I saw Go to Sleep as a finisher, I think my jaw just dropped. I was like, what was that? So, yeah.
But that's just how it's going to match up. That's just how they match up, So all these finishers are great. So we'll shuffle over from the bottom left to the bottom right. 3 seed, the Shooting Star Press going up against the Curb Stomp. The Curb Stomp, of course, made famous by Seth Rollins. And the Shooting Star, God, who had the best Shooting Star? Evan Bourne.
Kidman. Oh, Kidman was the first one I think I remember seeing doing it.
Yeah. Matt Sydal, Evan Bourne was just amazing. Yeah.
I'll make the case for either Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, or Ricochet as the best one. Like, because theirs are always like two of the best. Of course, I will always give props to the first Jushin Thunder Liger.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jushin, wherever you may be. He's in Japan. He's fine.
Yeah.
And now
I never saw him do it till later. Like I said, Kidman was the first one I saw, but Kidman just never got a lot of air. His was kind of a.
It was kind of a quick fray. Yeah. So. Yeah. The Battle of the Hammers. The Jackhammer versus the Burning Hammer is the next matchup here. 14 versus 19. Funny how that works out.
Is this like Mjolnir versus Stormbreaker, or
kind of sort of when you think about it?
Yeah, way, yeah.
All right. Now, Frog Splash. Whether you're thinking of the Eddie Guerrero Frog Splash, the 5-star Frog Splash of Rob Van Dam, the Tadpole Splash by Hornswoggle, whatever it is, that's in there going up against the Coquina Clutch, aka the Karafuda Clutch. So
what does Montez Ford call his, like, From the Heavens or something like that? Because that boy got hops.
Yeah, he does.
That boy could jump from the floor to the top rope and then do the frog splash, and it would still like that boy got hyped on his jumps.
It's going up against Coquina Clutch, which is one of my favorite submission moves of all time. So
I loved it because like that was another first move I ever saw in Ring of Honor with Samoa Joe, and I was like, wow, that is a gigantic man to put you in a sleeper hold and not let go. That's almost terrifying to see. I
gotta be a little honest. Shayna's NXT last run kind of soured me on it just because we talked about this a couple years ago on here. Just the way that that always was the match and just going in and out of it, and yeah, but it's still a great finisher. Just
Pence is doing it right.
Yeah.
All right, the final one on that side of the bracket, the Eclipse, aka the O-Face, as we knowingly call it in Texas, for indie reasons. Yes, going up against the Angels Wings. It's Ember Moon against Christopher Daniels there. So
that's a match I'd actually want to see. And And I don't even mean like back in the day. No, I'd watch that match now. Because
without a doubt.
Now, of course, the top right part of the bracket. This one I think is going to be the closest vote throughout. Number one, first off, may not be the closest one, but Styles Clash against the top rope elbow drop.
Okay.
There's so many variations of that. So I just thought I just put top rope elbow drop. I'm surprised a lot of you guys voted for it. So
first off. Mm-hmm. If we're not mentioning the Macho Man elbow drop, that's like number 2 on the list. Because that man made the elbow drop like artwork. Shawn with a pretty close second, but it wasn't really his finisher. So, but I don't know about 31. Disappointed in some of you people.
Well, I think if it's Macho Man, sure. But I mean, there's so many out there. You think of him, you think of Kairi Sane. How many out there? It's tough.
With the froggy bow.
Mark Briscoe, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely Macho Man's is the most iconic there. Next matchup, the Tombstone Piledriver against the Page Tap Out, PTO for short. Next one, 450 Splash against the Last Call / Code Red. This one, think Melina. If you need to go look up Melina's finisher, Last Call, because I know there's so many different Last Calls out there. Yeah. This is the one we're referring to, is the one Melina made famous, which is pretty damn cool.
This is why because even I got confused, because I was like, wait, the super kick or the Melina's thing? Okay.
The Sunset Bomb is also what it's called now, right?
I think that's another.
That was its original name, and then Amazing Red did it so much they called it Code Red, and then Melina did it so much, and then I completely forgot about Melina's because I'm an Amazing Red nut. So
yeah, so that's that one,
and then the one that's going to be difficult for Tommy,
dude, Stone Cold Stunner against the Rainmaker. That's how it worked out, Tommy.
I think that one specifically to hate me. That one alone is to hate me. You guys are not my friends because you're making me choose this right here.
Choose your allegiance, Tommy. Texas or Japan?
Shut up!
What is it? Right now.
Don't you dare make me do that, because this is not fair. I did not sign up for this when we started this show. At no point do I deserve this. I do not deserve this.
All right. That being said, here's a look at there's the full bracket again, guys. We're going to see how this plays out, how you guys vote. We'll provide some updates each week on how the progress is going and what some surprises are when we do our shows each week. But
I filled out a bracket already. Can't see it because of my background, but
yeah,
nope, can't see it. But it's there.
You filled one out. Who's your final four? Just tell me who your final four is.
Final four is Diamond Cutter / RKO versus Scorpion Deathlock, and on the other side, Stone Cold Stunner versus the Eclipse. On that.
Oh boy. That's a great Final Four.
Yeah. So. And I get that Scorpion Deathlock has some tough competition. It's a little more of a heart pick because, again, I was always such a big Sting fan. And, again, to me, it's not even the sharpshooter. It's the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm. I do laugh at how the Rainmaker has become a legit argument for such a finisher because, everyone steals it now. Like literally everyone whenever I see someone do it, I almost get mad. I'm like, none of y'all want to do it before Okada did it. So, but B, he makes it actually look like it hurts like hell. And I think you got to give props to Tanahashi for that. Tanahashi is one of the best guys to sell the absolute crap out of a Rainmaker. That dude looks like he gets legitimately knocked out every time he gets hit with one.
Well, I didn't get a chance to even fill my bracket out, so maybe, yeah.
Oh, fill the bracket out. Okay.
Yeah, to fill the bracket out.
You didn't rank them. I was like, wait, what?
No, to fill. Yeah, that would be awkward, right? No, just to fill it up for myself personally. I'll probably do that tomorrow after finish up editing and everything. But yeah, so this should be fun. I'm looking forward to this. See how this plays out.
Yep.
And if you're a tag team finisher fan, just wait. I think sometime later this year we'll probably do something like that. See what we can come up with as well. So looking forward to it. There's the bracket, guys. Stay tuned to our Twitter account for your chance to vote. May also try and just post some of these matchups on the Countdown City Geekcast Facebook page. We'll see how that plays out. I know they took polls away from Facebook for some reason, but if by some miracle they bring them back, you may also be able to vote there. So, all right. Now we're going to talk a bit of wrestling news before we get into the 1 minute warning. There's a little bit to talk about, and of course, the biggest one just happened last night. Lashley defeating The Miz for the WWE Championship. And I just have to say, the coolest part about this is that after Lashley won, Impact did post a tweet in a way congratulating Lashley and showing all of his championship wins in Impact. And there was one common constant with it. MVP was always by his side. And that was really cool to see MVP there with him. So,
wait, in Impact?
In Impact, yeah.
Yeah, MVP was,
MVP was there.
Every...
Just pretty much every single one, yeah.
That's about, wow,
MVP
okay.
was always ringside with them, even against Drew Galloway, which could potentially be the WrestleMania matchup we're going for.
That's,
so
definitely a big possibility.
And once again, Impact did it first.
I will note though that if that is the matchup at WrestleMania, Lashley beat Galloway the first time, and he didn't make him tap out. He made him pass out, and Galloway never gave up.
I'm always amazed though at the number of times people say A, Impact sucks, or B, they're dead, and literally half of the not I won't say half, like maybe an eighth of WWE's ideas come from what Impact did first. Granted, Impact had some crap booking for a while. Everyone knows that. I'll be the first to admit it. But then apparently it ain't that big a crap when apparently, you can just turn right around and book McIntyre and Lashley all over again.
And just a small thing, if that is the direction they're going to, I really hope they allow McIntyre to drop a little bit of this I'm the nice guy face of the company act and get a little bit more to, the way he used to be when he came in. And also, for Monday, if you didn't watch McIntyre versus Sheamus, oh my God, go watch that match. Those are two hosses beating the crap out of each other, but it is a great match. Like they just beat on each other, but it is awesome. So yeah, go check that out.
Now, while Lashley won the title and MVP is MVP at the ringside, I feel like the MVP of the night was really The Miz. The way. I mean, he held the championship for a little over a week, but it's going to be one of the most memorable championship runs I think any of us could ever think of, just for the fact the way he tried to keep it that night. So,
I think Mike, you sent this article of like The Miz saying, he doesn't really fight against the office, whatever Vince says, he just does it just to make his own. This is where I say, like, when people say, I saw a lot of comments, and I won't say like they don't have the right to feel this way. People said they want to see The Miz have a longer title reign and then lose it to Lashley later, and I get that, I really do. But we're also talking about a guy who has made this amazing career out of being the dude who you can get. Okay, the rest of fans are going to lose their minds. You can count on The Miz for a good match. I'm sorry, you cannot no longer discount this man. You can count on The Miz for a good match. I don't care
agree.
Or not. If you put him in the ring, you're gonna get your money's worth. Is he like the most technical guy? No, but will he give you everything he's got in the ring? Absolutely. He'll make you love him or hate him at the turn, just like that. And all night. And let's give him props for the whole night. He did this, not just one match. He kept this going all night. Him and Lashley. That may have been one of the funniest chase story. It was Tom and Jerry almost. I love it so much.
Appropriately enough, that movie came out Friday.
Yeah,
it did. I forgot all about that. Yeah. Anyway, that's why I'm thinking of Tom and Jerry, because that movie came out. Anyway, it was Tom and Jerry. It was Looney Tunes. It was just hilarious. And then to have those lumberjacks come out. Most of the guys who except for Morrison, just do not like The Miz anyway. And that was just hilarious.
It was.
So yeah, I you got to give The Miz props for how he carried that. I mean, this is why that even worked in the first place. I think guys like Lashley, and guys like Lashley, I don't think are like as egotistical as some people think. I think he's super grateful for how the Miz played his role. And I know, and the Miz is a pretty good dude. He's like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Hell, I won it twice. What do I care if I lose it again?
Not just won it twice, but he's going to go down as the first 2-time Grand Slam champion, and that's pretty awesome for accomplishment.
Miz is going in the Hall of Fame, and whoever doesn't like it, you might as well just accept it now. It's a reality that you're just gonna have to live with. He's going in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you had to accept reality when he married Maurice, and you didn't. So you're gonna.
And he's gotten her pregnant twice.
JC,
so
as when you go back to edit all this, every time Tommy says that thing, can you just put #facts in front of him, because he has been spewing nothing but facts.
Yeah,
100% agree.
Be a lot of flashing text there. I can put flashing text, I think. So I'll try.
You know what's funny? I keep thinking about the video after he beat Drew McIntyre, and he was like, "Well, the Miz won the title," and I was sitting there like, "I'm actually pretty thrilled you won, dude. I don't know who's that mad about it."
He's gonna play up to that group on the internet that just hates him because he was a real world transplant, who was a wrestling fan, who made his name on the challenge. But that's the beauty of it. That's like what you dream of as a kid. He created this character. He created the Miz. He called himself the Miz. He had his own Be Miz t-shirts on the challenge.
Yeah.
And he turned that into a wrestling career.
But see, that also blows my mind that people still discredit him because he started off in the real world. What about guys who start off everywhere else? There are people who start off as some of the women's wrestlers, they were models first. There are women there are people who are just athletes, or like this was their first job. Like Braun Strowman, he even said he wasn't even really a wrestler before this. He just decided to go to the performance center. Who cares? He's good now. I don't care how he got there.
keep the flashing text. Just keep it up.
Everyone takes a different path. Exactly. That is one thing you'd also count on him. He was very safe. And he doesn't allow him to get hurt. So
in an era where a lot of guys are not, unfortunately, which is a fact, he is. I mean, and freak accidents happen. I'm not saying everyone's out to injure everyone. Freak accidents just do happen. But the Miz is a safe wrestler, and
you made me think of that promo he did on Daniel Bryan, talking smack just before Daniel. I think it was before Daniel came back. Where he talked about, I work safe. I haven't beat up my body for 13 years. What was the match where he was it Shane McMahon, WrestleMania? Was there another match where he finally broke out like a springboard move or something?
That might have been Shane.
I was trying to remember, but within the last year or two, probably before 2020.
I think that
when he just busted out like a springboard, we're like, the Miz? What?
But that's the thing. He'll save for the special moments.
Exactly. No, I
know we're singing the Miz's praises, but I do want to sing Lashley's praises. Since he got here, we've been waiting for him to get a title, waiting for him to get a shot. Now, granted, when he first got there, it was like, okay, can this guy just take out Lesnar? Because we're sick of Lesnar's bullshit.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I really hope they don't turn this into Lashley versus Lesnar Mania, because that would just shit the bed. Because then everyone's going to be on Lashley's side, as much as you're trying to make Lashley a heel in this respect. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to it being Lashley McIntyre. Well, 2 in our minds, and we'll see what they book for Fastlane to see how McIntyre can earn that title shot. What I also do want to congratulate Lashley on is I believe this is the 3rd black champion to hold the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now I say the 3rd one if you say The Rock and Kofi. But I would say he's the 2nd one that's been promoted as a black wrestler or an African-American wrestler to win. The Rock was more heavily promoted as Samoan, that sort of thing. It wasn't really. I'm not saying he's not black.
Right. We're not saying that to discredit The Rock.
I'm not saying that at all. But it's just the way that they promoted him kayfabe-wise, So that says a lot, because when we talked about it in the lead up to Kofi eventually winning, it had been how many years of the WWE Championship existence, and there was never a wrestler that was promoted as a black wrestler. Yeah. And now we've had 2 that we can remember in the last, 5 years?
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. So
props to that. The fact that the Hurt Business is such a great stable. I mean, I need a shirt. I'm getting a shirt now. I absolutely do.
There's always deals on WWEshop.com.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
And also it's the fact that, as me being the wrestling historian, I was looking up pictures of guys like Bobo Brazil with the big cat Ernie Ladd, guys like that who, really, really took a risk, like risking their lives to make a name for themselves in wrestling because, people didn't, there were racists who didn't want to see that, but those guys had to be the first,
Yeah.
and, and even others' names who I don't even know or I'm forgetting, and guys like Ron Simmons who finally broke that barrier and won the world title in a major company. And then you go from him, you go to, to The Rock, you have guys like, guys who didn't win the world title, guys like Tony Atlas, Rocky Johnson. And then finally, like R-Truth, or as Ron Killings in NWA, winning that belt. Then you had Kofi Kingston a few years ago, and now Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley, and I bring this up kind of like how when Chris Rock said when Barack Obama was running for president, we're not electing Flavor Flav, we're electing someone who's actually qualified. So with Bobby Lashley, as long as we just pick any random black guy to win the belt, no, we picked the dude who's legitimately scary. Bobby Lashley. I looked up his MMA record, and he lost 2 fights in all his matches.
18-2 or something.
Yeah, one was TKO, and that was just a referee stoppage. It's not like he gave up. The referee just said he's done, and the other one was a decision. I was like, 18 fights, he lost 2.
Yeah,
if I fight 18 times, if I win once, I could say I'm retired immediately. So
I wouldn't fight 18 times. I'd fight once and get one heart hit with one punch. It's like I'm done. I'm done. Now, one quick note. You guys mentioned the whole Impact thing. There is a rumor out there. I don't know how true this is. I don't know if this is going to play out. But potentially as early as mid-April, WWE could be looking to move NXT to Tuesday nights on USA. So I don't know if that's true or not. People are just saying, oh, Impact's dead in the water. First of all, if this happens, and I don't know what it is, I think April 13th was the date that I saw on some of the news reports, Impact will be fine. Trust me. You can very easily, thanks to Twitch, watch NXT and your weekly Impact show at the same time.
Why do people want Impact to die? It won't.
That's the thing. It won't, because there is. I will argue to this day, Impact has a bigger social media following than WWE, because when those events happen, they are out there bigger than any WWE social
event.
But
here's my thing. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if their numbers are literally bigger, because WWE's always putting up it was like we had more things than these sports all combined, but I think they've used it better and to keep themselves alive in such a way that it feels like they are at the numbers that WWE has, because they have used it so well. Like I don't know if they literally have the numbers, because it's WWE, but yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. If that news comes to fruition, it would be a post WrestleMania move. So
I'm just like, if guys, Impact's not gonna die, because each time you beat the Blade to the mat, they shoot up a middle finger and be like, "Nice try."
Yeah.
And then they sign Sami Callihan.
and even if Impact sees this and says, "Okay, we can just move to Thursdays," they can. They own the channel that they're broadcast on. So
it's like. Guys who are wishing death to Impact. Dixie Carter's not there anymore. You can stop now. It's okay.
Yeah. Final bit of wrestling news, and I want Tommy to speak on this. The IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships will be unified Thursday, March 4th. I know it's basically been held by the same person since Naito wanted at Wrestle Kingdom, this past one, 3 years before. So yeah. Tommy, your thoughts on this? What this means to you? Obviously, this basically means the Intercontinental Championship is going away under the IWGP umbrella. That's
what I don't want. Okay, it's a couple things. Okay, so this is what I didn't want to happen. I don't think anyone really wanted this to happen, so I really don't know why they're doing it. I know there are some fans who are cool with it. I'm just not one of them. I love the idea of both belts. I like championships, and to me there were not too many belts in New Japan, because quite frankly, I like how they phrase it. The IWGP heavyweight belt represented the greatest, the Intercontinental belt represented the best, the Never Open One belt represented the baddest, and they haven't decided what the U.S. title represented yet, but they were getting there. And it also, to me, there have been unification of titles before, new belts created, but they're creating the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and they said that'll be a new belt, and it won't necessarily be following the IWGP Heavyweight lineage, which hurts my soul, because, I'm one of the few.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
say that one more time. They're creating the what?
So they're creating the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and it's going to be a brand new belt. So it
Is
won't
that
even
what's
be
going to come out of them being merged?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're gonna
okay.
rename it that way.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
which
We'll
sucks
rename
because
it, and they're going to say it's going to be a brand new belt. So it's going to be following a whole new lineage. So basically,
That
Kota
sucks.
Ibushi will be the first champion.
that sucks because there's so much history to that both of those championships, especially the heavyweight. I hope they would at least carry the heavyweight lineage, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So
But we'll see. But now a lot of people have theories of what might happen at the March 4th show if like someone like Okada just comes out and says, "Screw that, you're not doing it," and, because it wouldn't be the first swerve in New Japan. It really wouldn't. Now that being said, this final match, as much as everyone says, "Oh, Kota's got this in the bag against El Desperado," I'm not convinced he does. El Desperado showed a brand new side of himself this past year, and Castle Attack was no exception. He absolutely stole the show in his match. So, El Desperado has come a long way from where he was as like kind of like the orphan child of the junior heavyweight division, and he's really kind of blossomed into this very capable guy. And honestly, if he beat Kota, it wouldn't shock me as much as people think it might. It'd be like, damn, because him and Yoshihashi probably were like tied for like the longest link in New Japan without a title win. Like they were like just they were there wrestling all the time, did not win a belt, which is also why I wanted Yoshihashi to win the tag team titles, but that's another argument for another day. Anyway, but yeah, I want to know if this is what they're actually going to stick with, or are they going to swerve us like they have before? I mean, every time, because Jay White was done a month ago, and he showed up and says, "I hate you, Tomohiro Ishii," and my first thought was, "What did Ishii do to you?" So.
I mean, I know New Japan and their ways better. I just feel like there's got to be some swerve because it just seems like not the popular thing and not what the majority really wants anyway.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
There are people who want it, but so far I've seen more people who don't want it.
Right.
Now that being said, I do think the one of the good that come out of this is they can elevate the U.S. title, and the never openweight belt shirt I'm wearing will be elevated because, first of all, Tanahashi has it. Tanahashi has it, makes the belt more powerful just by him touching it. Him wanting it made it more powerful. But also, props to Great-O-Khan. You can no longer say that man can't wrestle because him and Tanahashi's match was a sleeper hit. If you guys can ever go back and watch that match, Great-O-Khan, that might have been the best match I've ever seen him in, and he proved he can work. He proved he can keep up. So if nothing else, this will elevate those other belts. But I have a special place in my heart for the Intercontinental belt. For one, MVP was the first champion, which is part of the deal for me. Nakamura's numerous reigns with it, Naito's reigns, and like guys like
Chris
Jericho,
yeah.
And I like the Intercontinental belt. It was always one of my favorites. And when they created it, I thought that was cool. And then they elevated it to such a high status to the point where even like when Nakamura won the New Japan Cup, he had lost the belt before that to Bad Luck Fale, and instead of challenging for the heavyweight title, he challenged for that instead because he wanted it back. And that's how you elevate a championship. So that's I'm hoping maybe they'll pull a swerve, but even if they don't, then I'll say, okay, I'll bite the bullet, but better elevate the never in the U.S. title belt to where they should be then. If you're not going to have the IC belt, those other belts better be seen as way more important.
We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if they swerve us on Thursday. I'm sure Tom will be watching that event as it happens. So, and one interesting note on belts, we're talking about New Japan getting rid of a belt. TNA, Impact, I should say, added one. They've officially re-sanctioned the TNA World Championship, and Moose is the first champion. They've been re-sanctioned belt. So he's been carrying it around for months, and now it's officially the title.
So whoever wins, are they going to become the TNA Impact Unified Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion? Because let me tell you, I made that name up just now, and I actually do want that on a shirt because I would wear it. So
better copyright it, book it right now. So, all right. With that, we'll get into our 1 minute warning segment. For those new to the show that you're watching us, this is really a minute for each of us to just kind of talk about whatever it is that's out there. Mike, you usually start us off. Do you have something this week?
I do. Do either of you mind if I talk a little bit more about the Miz?
Nope.
Not at all.
Of
course
is that
not.
part? I just want to make sure it's not. Well, and it's probably not the direction either of you would go. So,
All right.
that's cool.
Well, whenever
All
you're
right.
ready.
I'm interested now.
Yep. Whenever you're ready, set, and go.
Okay, so we praised the Miz for what he's done and what he carried for the last week, but I've had this thought throughout the week. I think WWE got saved a little bit by not having fans, because I think if fans had been here the whole year, I hate to say this, but I think there would be a little pushback, especially in some of your more hardcore cities, on McIntyre and his character. And I think Miz would have gotten a pop. I think Lashley would still be getting the pop he did, but I think there would be more in-crowd backlash on what's happening and the way the Miz was treated. So, honestly, I think down the road when we get back to fans, I think the Miz could get in a very Kofi-like way, maybe not to WrestleMania, but a fan swell of support that he deserves a legit run and to look strong, not be booked like the chicken ass. He plays it well, but I think the fans would get behind him, and I think that may be coming in the next couple of years.
Okay. We'll see. Well, the first test will be WrestleMania for sure, obviously.
For sure.
We'll see what kind of involvement he has with that
Yeah.
and then where they go from there. But yeah, I mean, who knows if Otis even wins the Money in the Bank if there's fans. And
That's
if
true.
they
Right?
book
That
it the
was the
same way.
whole, yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny how that all plays out, right? So,
Right.
Tommy, you got something this week?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, I do.
All right. Whenever you're ready, set, and go.
Okay, the first thing is tonight, tomorrow, All-Star Dream Cinderella Stardom's first show from the Nippon Budokan will take place. It's their 10-year anniversary show. Their actual 10-year anniversary was last month, but this is the show for it. So yeah, just want to bring that up because that's going to be a big show. But also to everyone who is ragging on wrestlers who got booked in the He Who Shall Not Be Named show. He's a jerk now and a potential rapist. Anyway, don't get mad at the wrestlers. They didn't know. They were fooled. They were tricked. They had no idea what was going on. That guy's a dirtbag. He is a complete dirtbag. He is trying to profess he's such a person in God now. And, you know, not everyone's a Christian. I am. I take that seriously. And I think he's just, you know, trying to blow smoke. Take it out on him, not on the wrestlers. If you want to donate to the charity they were going to donate to, just find a charity you like. Find a charity that you know is good. Support that, but do not support that jackass at all. I don't even want to say his name because I refuse to give him that much press.
I'm down with you.
I'm down with you too, and I think those of you right now that know, you know. And I will say this, Mike, you mentioned this typing in. We were talking about WandaVision on Sunday on the Geekcast. Some of us can't believe we were fans of that guy, but there's no shame in admitting you were a fan because as fans, we don't know all the backstage stuff. And in a way, if this pandemic doesn't happen, we never hear about it.
Yeah,
and the rest, you know. But it's okay to say you were a fan at the time, but you know. Right. Happens, yeah. So
and you know the thing was there were some female wrestlers at the time too when he was doing the things that the moves that were kind of like, oh, how are they letting him do that? I do remember some female wrestlers coming out saying, oh, it's cool, he's a nice guy and all this, but when everything else comes out and you hear about that and on the Geekcast I kind of compared it to Josh Whedon because I'm such a huge fan of all the things he's created, and then you kind of start hearing more of these stories. Yeah. It obviously started with the Ray Fisher thing, and then moved on to Charisma Carpenter and several people that worked on some of his original shows. Yeah. So again, same thing. Like I still like Buffy and Angel, but my appreciation now goes to Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz, and of course Elijah Dushku, my number one forever. So, but yeah, so and it's the same thing with this.
Like over here, So,
yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, she's having her second child, so congratulations to her.
Is he yours?
Yeah. Huh?
Is he yours? I have to ask. I'm just
My wife's around the corner.
No. And she gave me permission. No,
much like Tommy would say, in an alternate universe, yes, it is.
See?
Multiverse of Madness. Thank you.
See? You're welcome.
Yes.
Well, with an infinite number out there, you're telling me there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's
right.
yes, it would literally be 1 out of 14,600,000 whatever, but as long as there's one. Doctor Strange, baby.
Yes, Doctor Strange. There's that one.
All right, get
I
back
can
to
check all
wrestling.
those realities for you. All right. Hang on, my cat's
Oh
being.
yeah, back to the point. That dude's a bad guy. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
And
All right. Well,
just real quick, there was a guy named Pele Primo. He was helping like name names about stuff, and he's actually been sued over it. So there's a GoFundMe for his legal help. So I was like, because I didn't know nothing about that until today.
Yeah. But I will say this: if you do donate to a charity, please do your due diligence.
Yeah, for sure.
Make sure it's a legit charity. Make sure do some background checks before you donate. And donate wisely. You know, you would hate to donate to someone that's not a legit charity. So, my final thing will go from one bad guy in wrestling to another bad guy in wrestling because he used the F word. No, not F-U-C-K, F-A-K-E, fake. And of course, if you've been on social media today, you've heard about Randy Orton versus Soulja Boy. Look, Soulja Boy, you're famous for one song. And even beyond that, and one dance. And even beyond that, people, cranked out other different parodies of that. I don't know if Weird Al did one, but I kind of hope he did. That being said, the only reason your name is still out there is because you've appeared on Love and Hip Hop, and then your ass got embarrassed on Marriage Boot Camp. Yeah, I watched that season of you, and that you're now ex. And Waka and Tammy, by the way, I was a very big fan of theirs. But you were just high the whole time. You didn't really care about the relationship. You're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. My opinion of you changed so much after watching that. And the fact that you went through it, kind of half-assed it to get your TV time, and then staged a proposal to your now ex-fiance during the confessional, couldn't even do it at the final ceremony. No, I'm sorry. You're embarrassment. And you're just embarrassing yourself even more. I will leave it at this. To Randy Orton, I love that you're defending the business and anyone that uses the fake word, the F word. But it's even greater the fact that the Iron Sheik came out and tweeted something, and when it's entertaining and makes sense coming from the Iron Sheik, you know you're dead in the water. Because if Iron Sheik tweets about it, it's a mic drop. Yep. Soulja Boy, just keep your mouth shut. Thank you.
By the way, if you would like any more of JC's thoughts on reality shows, don't forget to follow the Island of Reality podcast.
Come check out the Island of Reality podcast.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Got your back.
Wherever you find your podcast, appreciate it. We're talking about Temptation Island right now, the Challenge Double Agents, and with Paramount Plus launching, we'll also be talking about the Real World Reunion. Yes, the very first season of the Real World. The cast is getting back together 29 years later.
Oh my God, I'm that old.
Yes. I know. They're in their 40s and 50s now. And we'll see what kind of craziness happens. Are they still racist? Some of them apparently are from the trailer. So
the first one was New York, right?
The first one was New York, the original New York. And they put a trailer out for it. And
real quick, I want to point out something about this whole Soulja Boy, the Randy Orton thing that was my favorite thing about it. Because one of my best friends pointed this out to me years ago, and I just love that it's still true. I love that we've gotten to the point where people say, we get mad when we call pro wrestling fake. No one denies that it's scripted. We don't deny that. We know it. We're fine with that part, but you can't call it fake because fake implies that everything they're doing, nothing is real about it. Like they're not, taking those hits, they're not taking the bumps, they're not getting hurt. No, it's like I love how wrestlers and wrestling fans, you can call it scripted all you want to. We don't give a damn because we still watch it. Yes, I don't New Japan is scripted. I don't care. So, but no, it's not fake, bro. And
in all fairness, like look behind Tommy, look at the seating behind JC. Those places were packed with hundreds, 100,000, 10,000s of people who all know exactly what it is, and it still entertains them. Now, mine are all screened, so there's not as many video people. But in all fairness, they tuned in. So
this picture behind me, all of us on the WrestleCast were there. And I had to zoom my camera all the way in from where we were sitting to get this picture close up as it was.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the club level at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
Also, that's how amazing that was. So.
And look, he's lucky he can get away with that kind of thing, calling it fake in America. He done in Japan. Suzuki probably would have actually hunted him down in the car that minute. No. Suzuki would have grabbed like Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. We're going to go kill this man. Get in the car.
That's a show I need now. is Suzuki just tracking down people that have insulted wrestling and
my God,
doing Suzuki things.
that's got great reality TV written all over it.
That's the one I would watch. Yes.
Can you imagine him in the car just like having a good time, just like stopping at restaurants to eat, and then he goes to a guy's house and just slaps him across the
Okay,
Coming
real
soon
quick.
to New Japan World.
Do any of y'all remember Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yeah, parts of it that I've seen.
Okay, so there's a part towards the end where they go and track down all these internet kids that were talking smack about them. I think it's a post-credit or like a credit scene, while the credits are playing. That's exactly what Suzuki's going to be doing. Hello, Noob Master 69. I saw you say this on...
That's so great. Look, if you're ever going to call the business fake, you better have the balls to get in the ring and find out for yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
You better just be happy you say it in America. At most, you'll get a talking to. Try
the
that.
The only thing fake in this whole argument, Soulja Boy, was you on reality TV because you're just putting up a performance for the cameras. That's just it, basically. So, all right,
you had a nice song, bro. But let it go.
Back to wrestling and no more of these 1 minute wonders or 1 minute.
Whoa, that sounds like a different show. We're not on that podcast.
Oh God.
That'd be a great idea for a new podcast, right? AEW Revolution is this Sunday, March 7th, my 40th birthday. Unbelievable.
What?
At 7 p.m. Central Time. The buy-in is at 6. Yeah, I'll be celebrating my birthday watching AEW Revolution.
Jason, you can't turn 40 because that means I'm not far behind.
Okay, trust me, when our classmates were putting it on social media, I was like, oh shit, I'm right around the corner. This will be at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. And of course, we'll be on Bleacher Report Live. The amount is $50. If you're international and you're watching us, awesome. But I believe with international, you can get it on the Fight TV app or the Fight TV service. So probably the same price as well, $50. Our Twitter account, of course, at CCG_WrestleCast. And subscribe here at the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel if you haven't already. Next week, we will recap AEW Revolution and preview Impact Sacrifice. I know so many of us are going to be talking about the famous Steiner Math promo because it always ties into Sacrifice somehow. And if you ever watch Impact on Twitch while it's live, they always have some great throwbacks, and I'm guaranteed that will appear at least once while you're watching it.
I just had a thought, JC. Me and Tina need to make a video where we listen through and show the math of the Steiner Math promo, where the math works out. He doesn't use it right at all, but the math actually does add up the way he says.
That spells disaster for you at Sacrifice because it adds up. Spring break is coming up. If you want to take the time to do it, sure. That could be fun.
Get a whiteboard. And just,
Look, let me explain while Scott Steiner is going to win this match.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do hope you enjoy AEW Revolution this weekend. And for those of you that are on spring break next week, just enjoy it. And come check out the Geekcast. I believe we are going to be going live potentially this Friday night, maybe sometime early this weekend, because WandaVision season finale is this Friday. And some of the guys are going to be heading out of town for spring break with the families. So I think we wanted to try and do this Friday Night Live. We'll see.
JC got good odds on his bet that Wolverine shows up. So let's see if he wins money.
Let's do it. I wish I could have gone to Vegas and put a bet on that. But
I am. It's amazing how hooked I am on that. It's like I am so in for Harvard.
As we watch each week, I'm more and more convinced that this is the Quicksilver from the X-Men world, and Jackman's going to save the day. It's the way it's played out. I still think
it's funny because after the last episode, I feel exactly the opposite. But let's see what happens.
In a weird way, it is, But no spoiler free there if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, definitely watch it and be talking that. Maybe talk a little bit about Superman and Lois because that show's been great. It's already been picked up for a second season after one episode.
Nice.
Yes, yeah. So thank you, everybody.
Superman, Soulja Boy.
Damn right. He actually is raising his kids with his wife for one thing in this show.
Oh my God!
Whoa, dropping bombs.
Oh my God! In the show.
Over here we got Tommy.
Goodbye, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC, and I don't give a shit how much hate you Soulja Boy fans give me because, as we always say, pro wrestling is real. people,
including
Soulja
Boy.
That's it. I'm done.
Hey yo, subscribe to the channel by clicking right here. Or if you want to watch more videos, click right here.